Hello and welcome to this taste challenge we have from a distillery established in 1815, although it did go out of business twice. Ardbeg, the ultimate Islay single malt Scotch whiskey aged, guaranteed 10 years old, non-chill filtered. And this is 92 proof, 46% alcohol, $47 a bottle. Tomatin Highland single malt Scotch whiskey, aged 4 to 8 years. In other words, the youngest whiskey is 4 years old, the oldest is 8. But they choose not to use an age statement on the bottle, although they tell you on the website it's 4 to 8 years. All right, imported by United States Distilled Products, Princeton, Minnesota, and that would be common importer. They also import the Glenmorangie. Dualchas, cultural heritage. They don't use the term legacy in the United States, I think because of legacy Canadian whiskey, so they just call it Dualchas, which means cultural heritage or legacy. But in the rest of the world, it's called legacy. It's bourbon and virgin oak casks. So they use ex-bourbon cask and new oak cask. 750 milliliters, 43% alcohol. I bought this at Walmart. It was $27. So we're talking about a $20 difference. 27 bucks, 47 bucks. 4 to 8 years old, meaning around 6. Average is 6 years old. 10. So it's going to make a difference. Remember, the Glenmorangie was about 6 years old, according to their website. And it was really nice. I guess it lost the challenge earlier this morning, but it wasn't any kind of big wipeout. And anyway, we're talking about a $22 difference on those two, so it was kind of fair. The unfair thing was they weren't the same type of single malt Scotch. Islay versus Speyside, and this is Islay versus Highland whiskey. They said the soft side of Highland. Tommy Carroll says, top of the morning, Louisiana liquor reviews. Thanks. It's later morning here. Okay, so it's got a plastic cap here. Take that off. Moisturize the cork because I won't be dealing with this for probably at least 6 months now because we're closing out the single malts and we're going to blended tomorrow. I mean to say Thursday. We're doing this one for Wednesday. Wednesday going to be too hectic. And the blend is going to take a good while. And although I am dissipating my stocks, and then we're going into we're going off of whiskey for a good amount of time and going to brandy, then rum. I can't remember white or gold. Gold, the Major Laser from Bacardi, no longer produced, I don't think. And then we got gold tequila and so forth. All right, so Ardbeg. Now this one has a foil cap with Tomatin. Now both of these companies produce whiskeys that'll be hundreds of dollars a bottle. You understand? So 47 and 27 is like cheapo. You know what I mean? Cheap. You can go really expensive with these and give like anniversary bottles to people for a gift, or say like birthday gifts, graduation, and things like that. So these would be more common. And you can get them around. I know that Ardbeg 10 is at Mathern's. Don't think Tomatin is, but it's at Walmart right over here. Late Morning Busters, says the aviation, right? Late Morning Busters. Moisturize the cork on this one because it's going to be a while before I get. So it's a wooden cap. Now the Ardbeg is a plastic cap, but it's got a real cork in it. Where'd I put that plastic cap cover? Where'd that thing go? I don't really need it, but it looks nice. All right, we'll find it. Wow, this is tight. Golly. Woo! And that's real cork. That's not pressed board or plastic. And it's wood. Wood cap looks nice, huh? It's got some kind of design on it, like a, well, it's kind of animal. I don't know what it is. Okay. I've been very pleased with the Tomatin. Nice mild product. The Legacy, or in the USA, the Dualchas. This is their entry level. Like I said, about $27. But you can start climbing and very easily get into the hundreds of dollars for the bottles, which you'll see around at different stores. Well, I've never seen something disappear that fast. It'll show up. Or maybe it evaporated. Maybe maybe that's the thing with Ardbeg. If you take the little plastic cap off so many times, it disintegrates into air. I don't know. I would have to say neither one of these have coloring added. I mean, the Ardbeg 10 is so pale, almost has like a greenish gold, like you get with Cutty Sark. And Cutty Sark might use this as their smoke component. Like if you ever drink Cutty Sark, it'll have a peaty, smoky nose, but it's not real profound, but it's there. They might be using Ardbeg 10 as the Isla whiskey to give it that. I don't know. Blending it in. But they have a similar color, like that greenish gold. Like if you pour Budweiser beer in a glass, a clear glass, you'll notice it's gold, but if you look at it correctly or carefully, it's like got a greenish tint to it. It's strange. And here, this is just gold, but it's very light. You would think that a blend of 4 to 8-year-old whiskeys would give it that color. Now, when you say single malt, you say, oh no, it's single malt, you can't blend. No, you can blend. It just has to be a blend of malt whiskeys at the same distillery of different ages, you see. It just can't have any grain whiskey in it, grain spirits. Then that would be a blended whiskey. If you get Evan Williams straight bourbon, it could be a blend of different bourbons from their distillery. The straight bourbon just means it's at least 2 years old and it's at least 51% corn and it's aged in new charred oak barrels. But we don't want to get into all those technical things, but it's interesting. This is going to be a quick challenge because there's no way I'm going to confuse the two. I mean, it's not going to happen. I'm going to find that cap cover. I hope. Okay. I can't look because, you know, one is tan and the other one is straw. Sweet grain. And this one's sweet grain, but the other one's got smoke. See, sweet grain and peaty smoke, or smoky peat. And this one's just sweet grain. Think about like sweet white bread and white bread crust. 86 proof versus 92 proof. 43% alcohol versus 46. Yeah, it's a difference. It's not a great difference, but it's noticeable at times. Age 10 years versus 4 to 8. Average of 6. Approximately, yeah, that should make a difference, a 4-year difference on average. I don't know. We'll see. I know already what it is. I know this is Ardbeg. I'm going to taste it and say it's Ardbeg. I know it is. Ding dong, Ardbeg. you going to confuse that? You know, the answer is you're not going to confuse it. Now, if I'm going up against some other Isla, what are some other Isla like? Was it Lafroy? And well, I can't even remember now. Kalila. My friend Dave is always buying these different Islas, and I'm trying to get into it. I just got one so far, the Ardbeg 10. The next one I'm planning to buy is the Ardbeg 5-year age, that wee beastie or whatever it's called, wee heavy, wee something. Sounds better than calling it discounting younger, you know. But then I'll try some others, you know, and do that. So that's very nice. Ardbeg 10. Drink it every day. Never get tired of it. Like, you would never get burnt out on it. I don't think you would. But you might hate it to start with. You might hate all that smoke. You might say, yikes. I would hope 4 years of aging would make a noticeable taste difference. You'd hope. Might make it smoother. See the Tomatin? It's smooth, and you can taste the bourbon barrels. Like, it's got this like corn thing going, but there's no corn in it. Bourbon and virgin oak, meaning not used before, but it's probably uncharred. I mean, see, the Tomatin, is the Ardbeg one of your all-time favorites? Well, certainly is. But that doesn't mean a lot because I haven't had that many, you know. If you say, what, how many scotches have you tried all together? It's probably at the most 50, and I doubt it's 50, but it could be. Because I probably had tried at least 40 of my own purchases, but where in the heck? But it's that's not really a lot. I mean, they got people that's had hundreds. I mean, with beer, I've had thousands, so I kind of real familiar with beer tastes, beer flavors. I'm telling you. That is some weirdness. Well, so much for that. Oh, wait. Shows you where my mind is. I had it on the cap already. I had it so tight I didn't adjust this rug. Well, it didn't disappear or evaporate. It was on the cap, or it was on the the cap cover was on the cap. Well, I am noted for being absent-minded. I'm the first to admit it. Oh, well, heck. All right, going on. People say, your videos are very rough. They're not edited. If I had $1 for every time I edited videos, I might have, in 10, 11 years. This is the 11th anniversary this month, on the 26th. If I had $1 for every time I edited my videos, I'd probably have $5. And the only reason I edited them was like to take stuff out, like something we said that sounded stupid or was wrong, and I didn't feel like hearing people say that's wrong, and me saying I know, I said it wrong. I didn't like. I did a stout on Sunday morning, all right, to get ready for Stout Sunday, and I said it was the first video review for that beer in the world, but I was wrong. It wasn't. Other people had done videos. That was my sloppiness for not checking. Okay, I knew it was kind of an obscure product. I didn't realize it wasn't as obscure as I thought. So, you know, I'm just going to try to edit that part out of it. It's only like 10 seconds. And that way people won't say, well, you know, these other people did reviews already before you. Would be easier just to put a note at the bottom. Note, I was wrong. I wasn't the first video reviewer for this product. Sorry about that. I think that might be what I'll do. It won't take so long. I mean, it was just an honest mistake. It was based on sloppiness. I'll admit. I like your review videos being unedited. Oh, thank you. I switched it around like mouthwash. Ardbeg. It's a high rating. I mean, I gave it a 98 in my solo. Is it really that good? I mean, maybe I overestimated it, but I mean, it's still good. I mean, it's all of these products, they're so close. Like, I mean, with all these single malts, I'm like 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98. So we're looking at like a 5-point range out of 100. That's not that big of a range. It is a range, though. And there is a difference between them in the quality or the enjoyment level, but it's not a profound difference. So you might say, well, like you might tell me, well, I don't really want to pay $47 for a bottle of single malt scotch, and I'm not that interested in smokiness. You just might say that. I know what smoked stuff tastes like. I had smoked turkey. I've had smoked ham. I got a bottle of liquid smoke or whatever. I mean, I knew what that's like. I've had the beers from Bamberg, Germany, the Schlenkerlis Roch beers, the smoke beers. And you just might say, I just want a good single malt scotch that I don't have to pay a lot for. Okay, well, I bought the the Glenmorangie, and it was $24.95 at Walmart. That price went up. Is it really good? Yeah. Would I get tired of it? No. Could I drink it like for the rest of my life, the only single malt, and enjoy it? Yeah, I wouldn't get tired of it. I mean, I wouldn't do that because I will try more and will explore and continue the adventure. I'm saying because some people are very tight on money and they say, look, I can't afford it. You doing all these videos every day with every kind of beer and every kind of wine, usually cheap wines, but no, actually always cheap wines, But every kind of beer, some of them are extremely expensive, like the 120 IPA, and all kind of whiskey. Some of them are expensive, and I can't be affording all that. I would say to you, yeah, you don't need to afford it. Just buy what you can afford. And here's some good examples of affordable beers, wines, and liquors that should be just fine, should work very well. And Tomatin, $27 a bottle. Last time I checked, yeah, fine. There's no problem. It might have gone up. But if you could save $3 and get the Glenmorangie, hey, that's a winner. I mean, that's a real winner. It's not like, oh, well, I gotta be stuck with this stuff. No, it's not. You're not stuck with it. Are there way better Glenmorangies? Obviously, there are, because I doubt they're charging $400 a bottle for something that's like slightly better than the $24 bottle. You would assume it's way better. But considering I never had a $400 bottle of whiskey in my life, I would not know. I've only had the $226 bottle, the Johnny Walker Blue Label, which has always won every taste challenge, and usually in an incredibly disastrous way, in the sense that it destroys all the rest. That's an interesting product, because when you drink the Blue Label on its own, you think, it ain't really that good. It's great, but it's not that great. It's not $226 great. Come on, give me a break. And probably that's so. But then you put it in the taste challenges, it just wipes them out. I mean, that's where the proof comes in when you do the blind taste test. It just kills them. So would I like to try all the really fancy versions of all these different ones I'm trying? Well, yeah, of course I'd like to, but I don't have the money. Well, actually, that's not the reason. It's just that I cannot get to everything all at once, and I don't want to I don't want to spend the money. I'm not going to sit there and try to act like I can't buy them. I'm just not going to. I'm like the hare. No, I'm not like the hare. He won the rush. He got worn out, lost the race. I'm like the tortoise. Slow and steady wins the race. There's a little honey. There's quite a bit of bread crust, white bread. Is there a little bit of sharpness on it, like a little bite to it that you might get from something that's not aged long enough? Yeah, there is. It's so minimal, though. But like I said, Tomatin, it's a winner. Tomatin Dualchas, or if you live in other outside the United States, a Legacy, you got it. It's a winner, babe. Now, I did buy a single malt Scotch earlier this month. That was $22.95. I am not kidding. $22.95. Full size bottle now. I don't know anything about it. It's called Jura. Maybe they pronounce it Jura. I'm a hog and you're a hog. I don't know. You know, when I see the letter J, I say Jura. You know, the Joker, Jelly, the Jordan River. Okay, that's the way I speak. I learned English. I was raised speaking English. So don't pick on me if I say Jura. All right. Is it any good? I couldn't say. I never tried it. That's the next one coming up. But for $22.95, I was willing to take the risk. And I was reading some written reviews on Total Wine, and they were favorable. You know, I read a few. I didn't read the whole thing. Total Wine is cool about that because they'll let people put any kind of review on there. If they say it's terrible, they'll let you put it. They don't care as long as you're not cussing, you know, and saying it tastes like, you know, being stupid about it. If you give a real sensible review and you say you don't like the product and you tell why, they're gonna let it stay. They'll keep it. But you gotta say, look, here's what I think about the product, and here's why I think that. Here's my tasting notes. They'll leave it up. They're not going to take it down. But if you get up there with no kind of sense and talking about, don't buy this whiskey, it tastes like airplane glue and urine, it's trash, they're not going to leave it up there. They're going to take it down because that's not a good review and it makes no sense. I like these hotel companies. Lately, these hotel companies leaving any kind of review up. They just leave it. That's to put pressure on the owners of the hotel. You know, the hotel chain, they just own the chain. They own the naming rights. They own the contract. The franchisee, that's the hotel owner, they own the actual motel or hotel. So the reason they let the reviews stay up is to put pressure on them to keep their place nice. So you can usually get a good idea of what the place is like because you can go through, like, say, the last 6 months of the hotel reviews. And there's always going to be these extremes, like, oh, the place is great. And they'll talk about how great it is. It's like, the Days Inn is great. Maybe it's okay, but great? Then you might figure it must be the guy who owns the hotel's nephew doing the review. Well, you know what I'm saying. But then you get the other extreme. It's a crack house. There's needles everywhere. There was like blood on the sheets and all of this. And then it's like, well, it doesn't match up. You know, what they're saying doesn't in any way match up with the other reviews. You know, the other reviews would be like, yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's inexpensive. It's Days Inn. What do you think it's going to be? You know, it's like an inexpensive hotel. You know, and you'll read 20 reviews saying the same thing. It was all right. I walked down the street to the convenience store and got some beer, and they had a in-room microwave and a little mini fridge, and the TV had a lot of channels. You know, I mean, you got to kind of filter out the extreme reviews that don't make they don't go along with the actual. And I've read some of these. Now, if you read 20 reviews and they're all saying that, then you can get the idea that it's really that bad. And I found that out last year in Shreveport. I was like, wow, the reviews were right. It really is bad. And we said, we want our money back. We're leaving. And then we called the company and they said, oh, no, They were telling us on the phone, this ain't going to work. They said, we want your name. We want you to give us a review. Please, when you get a chance to, when you're not driving, stop, write a full report. We're not playing games with these people, you know. So, and that's the same thing with, like I'm saying, with the whiskey reviews. You get these super high ratings, like it's not perfect. It's not 100, okay? But you might only have 1 or 2 people writing that. Then you get the ones, like I said, say it tastes like airplane glue and gravel and cat litter. You just got to look at the ones that are more within reason. And they usually be correct. Like they'll all be like correct. Like if I drink a beer and I'll say, oh yeah, it tastes This beer has a weird banana flavor. Why had this banana flavor? Then I read the reviews for the last month, and there'll be like 4 other people saying, what's this banana flavor? And I'm like, well, I was right. And I didn't read the review until I did the review. I always do it first. Then I read what the people say after I write mine and post it. 9 times out of 10, it lines up. All right, last comment. Well, this is really good stuff. Is it great? No, if it was great, I'd have given it a 98. But it's good. It's most excellent. I mean, it's well made. The company knows what they're doing. That's why they've been distilling since 1897. How many times have you been the first in the world to review a product? I don't know, a lot of times. But sometimes I was wrong, like I thought I was. And then I was like, whoops, I was wrong. I watched that, but, it's been a lot of time. I watched that video where you dropped the bottle and that was the best left unedited. Haha. Yeah, it was funny for people, but it wasn't funny for me. That was $10.99 for that bottle. $10.99 for a bottle of beer, 500 milliliters, and I dropped it. It was so cold and dry, and I wanted people to see the snow in the background. Like the one time in 15, once every 15 years we get snow in Louisiana. I was like, this is gonna be a great video, So, but it was making my hands so like dry and and then there's nothing, so it's like slippery. So I went to open it and it fell out my hand and hit the concrete and was shattered. I saw that. I said, boy, I cannot believe this. So I had to get in my car, go back to Mathern's, buy another bottle for $10.99 and redo the video. I just left the accident video up, still posted. That was the worst. I was so disgusted by that. I just like throwing money away. But I mean, it was that's why they call it accidents, right? If it was on purpose, it would be called something else. You remind me of a founding father. Oh, you mean like Thomas Jefferson? Thank you. I like to be like Thomas Jefferson. I had some interesting experience at Days Inn, ... I'm sure you have. I'm sure many people have. I have generally not had bad experiences. I would say it's 90% fine. I don't just stay at Days Inn. That's a good example because it's such a common hotel, But 90% of the time in the last 25 years that I started doing road trips 25 years ago. It's been fine, But then you have these aberrations and it's like, oh Lord, what is this? And usually the company is very good. Now I got to say that I got to give the company credit. They're very good about taking care of the problem. One time the manager of a Days Inn called me. He was like, can I post your email on my company's bulletin board or whatever? I was like, well, why do you want to do that? He said, just to show our employees that they're doing the right thing. I said, go ahead. And I had Days Inn call me one time also and say, or as an email, I can't remember, but they said, you're a different kind of person because the only time we ever get a comment is because of a complaint. Like no one ever sends us emails saying how nice the place was or how it was okay. They never do that. They only complain. So every time I stay at any hotel, I always send feedback to the company. And 90% of the time, it's positive. So they track that. Like they know. They told me one time, you've been making comments since 2003, and you're a member of our Gold Club, Wyndham Gold card. So when I tell them something's bad, they're on it like white on rice, and they go after the company. And I stayed at a few hotels and never asked for any refund. I've never asked for a refund in my life. But I just told them, I said, y'all better get down to Florida City and check this place out. This is a mess. And they said, this is absolutely unacceptable. And the guy sent me a check in the mail. The president of the company sent me a check for a refund. I said, I was saying to myself, I didn't ask for a refund. But of course, I was glad to get it. When I stayed at a place in Arlington this past summer, there was all kind of problems. I kept telling the manager, there's a problem with this, a problem with that. I wasn't trying to be a nag. It was just literally a problem. I think he got the picture by just talking and interacting with me that I was going to send an email to the company. Like he got the impression that I was the kind of person that was going to give feedback. He was making some strange faces. I was never charged for the night. You hear what I'm saying? I never got a bill. Like my credit card was never charged. I told my friend David, I said, we were never charged. Because he was, I guess, preemptively saying, I know where this is going, so he didn't charge me. Wasn't worth it. If you looked at the website, it was nice. I was like, wow, this place is nice. And it's only 2 miles from the ballpark in Arlington. We could walk to the dang ballpark. But David didn't want to walk. He said, I'm not walking in this heat. But luckily, we found a free parking spot, like right around the corner from the stadium that none of the fans knew about. It was like, why y'all don't look at a map and see that this street, there's no meters. You can park here all day, but they don't look. We parked, walked across the railroad track, went to the game, came back to the truck, left. No parking. We didn't pay for parking. But and that's a wonderful stadium, which they did not need to build because there was nothing wrong with the previous stadium, except that it had no air conditioning. It was hot as hell in Arlington from April to August, but April to September. But the one in Lexington, Kentucky was great, but the one in Greenville, Tennessee is a different story. It's the same thing here in Louisiana, same thing. You stay at one day's inn in New Orleans, and it's like, wow, this is really nice. It's on St. Charles Avenue. Streetcar comes in front. It's got a free breakfast. It's next to this nice restaurant. It's really nice. It's got a courtyard and everything, but it ain't $42 a night. You know, it might be $140 a night. And then you say, but I stayed at that one on Sheffman Tour Highway. It was hell. Well, look where you were staying, but still shouldn't be bad. You know, I can't say it might be nice on that highway. I don't know. I'm just using that as an example. You know what I mean? It's the same in every city. It's the same old story. But did you guys go to the baseball game? Well, heck yeah, we went to the baseball game. That's why we drove all the way out there. We went all the way to Arlington to go to see the Texas Rangers. New ballpark. That way I could say I've been to every major league ballpark. So guess what? I've been to every major league ballpark. I've been to at least one game at every major league ballpark. True story. That is not a lie. So I had to drive all the way there. But it was a fun trip, except for the big arguments. But those calmed down, and he apologized, my friend. But he was telling me, everything with you is about baseball. I said, well, it is a baseball trip. You know, that's the purpose of the trip. That's the theme. And we ate at a fabulous restaurant for breakfast on the way to Arlington that morning. I mean, it was incredible. Little roadside on US Highway 80 roadside diner. It was like a very low price for the breakfast, like cheaper than McDonald's. And the food was like 1,000 times better than McDonald's. And my friend David was just blown away by how good it was. And I was blown away too, honestly. The old stadium looked better, at least in pictures. The old stadium was fine. They built that thing in 1994. It opened in 94. Of course, it took a while to build it. And you remember maybe back then they were bragging, the ballpark at Arlington. This is the new standard. This is the great thing in baseball. And they went on and on and on, you know. Just like Orioles Park at Camden Yards and Jacobs Field in Cleveland, and they go on and on. Now, 20 years later, what are they saying? This is terrible. This park is no good. It's too hot. I was like, wait a minute. You spent all this taxpayer money to build this state-of-the-art ballpark in 1994, and 20 years later, you're telling us how garbage it is? I'm not buying it. And I went to like 4 games, maybe 5. I went to a number of games at the ballpark at Arlington. There was nothing wrong with it, believe me. Except it was hot. It had no air conditioning. It was not domed. There was no dome. It was just hot. You know, in Texas, it's hot. That mid-continental climate in the summer, it is very hot. And You could have a heat stroke. I mean, it's really hot. But they knew that when they built it. And I would have voted no. If they would have said, how are you going to vote to raise taxes or a millage or whatever, a bond issue to build a stadium, I'd have said no. But I'm only me, and I couldn't outvote it. And I don't even care because I don't live in Texas. What do I think of Comerica Ballpark in Detroit? I think it's great. And they opened it in the year 2000. The year 2000. And I've been to 3 games there, 2002, 2003, and 2014. It's a wonderful ballpark. And then you don't have to worry about the heat over there. You know, Detroit is always moderate climate in the summer. Now it'd be very cold in April and May and September and October, you know, but otherwise it's fabulous. It's great. I love it. I really love it. And the last time I went, I parked for free. True story. I can tell you where to park. I won't say it online. I won't say it live because people will find out and then they'll change it. But yeah, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's great. I would love to go to all the stadiums someday. I thought that was the best project I ever did. Drinking the whiskeys, drinking the beer. Those are good projects. They're enjoyable. But going to a game at every major league ballpark, that's a better project. And I've done it. And I've done some of the stadiums that no longer exist. Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, torn down in 2004. Last game in 2003. I went there. Didn't make it to Tiger Stadium. Big mistake. Didn't make it to Comiskey Park in Chicago. Big mistake. Well, I'm not going to sit here and name them all, but I've been to so many, and they're wonderful. They're just great. People ask me, what's the worst major league ballpark? I say, you got to remember. You got to look at this in perspective. It's like beer. People say, you know, oh, you're always giving high grades to beer. I say, yeah, because I'm dealing with a whole collection of greatness for the most part. I always tell people this about major league ballparks. You have to remember, the worst major league ballpark is great. Okay? So I tell them, you're only dealing with levels of greatness. It's like every major league baseball park you go to is great in its own way. So when you hear somebody get on the internet talking about, oh, I went to Miami, that was garbage, that's a dump, they're wrong. Okay, it's not an opinion, they're just wrong. I've been to every major league ballpark. Believe me, I've never been to a dump. Okay? That's just propaganda, and it's lying propaganda. Okay, last comments. I got to get out of here. We're going on too long. It's been a great hangout. If you're coming to a game at Comerica, hit me up. We could park at the casino for free. Okay. I've been to Detroit quite a few times, actually, driving to Canada through the tunnel, over the bridge, parking and going to the ballpark. Yeah, that'd be fun. Are you ever going to go to California again? I went to a few Dodgers games at Dodger Stadium, says Hector. Well, I might go to California again. Last time I went was 15 years ago. I parked for free at Dodger Stadium. True story. And I had to do a little walking, but it wasn't much. I ain't going to say where I parked because then the city officials will hear about it and they'll go block it off where you got to pay. But I had I ain't going to say what kind of food I had because then that'll tip you off. Too many clues. But it was hot as hell that day. Ooh, it was a heat wave. It was fun though, but it was hot. Ooh, terrible, horrible. The next day I went to Angel Stadium, and the next county over in the south, Orange County, and it was hot. Ooh, it was hot. Oh, it was so hot. But I did get a haircut, and those Mexican guys, you know, Chicanos, they were like really careful about doing hair, you know. It was like an art form for them. They were like specifically engaged on how to do a haircut. They were obsessed, but it was great. I love that kind of stuff. And then I had gone to San Diego on that Saturday. So Saturday, San Diego, Sunday, Los Angeles Dodgers. Monday was the the Angels. Then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday was the 49ers, the Giants. Friday night was the Oakland A's. Don't believe the propaganda. It's a nice stadium. I mean, it's old, of course. Saturday afternoon was the Oakland A's again. Sunday was driving. Monday was Texas Rangers. Oh, I'm sorry, Colorado Rockies. And Tuesday was the Rangers. And Wednesday I was back home. So that was a long trip. Oh, man, 2 weeks. Are you ever going to Riverfront? No, I didn't make it. JB Cardell Knives. I didn't make Riverfront. We went there in 04 to see the Montreal Expos. Hey, how you like that? We saw the Montreal Expos at the Cincinnati Reds. Wonderful game. We ate those sky conies. We were eating hot dogs. We were just like eating hot dogs incessantly. It was like a special that night. $1 sky conies. And me and my friend Paul were eating like one hot dog after the other. It was funny. Putting all the onions on it we could put. That was a great trip. And we wanted to go see the Expos. I said, they ain't going to move. That's just a trick. Well, they moved, and we didn't get to go to Olympia Stadium. I said, well, I guess I was wrong. The Tropicana Field is the best stadium ever. Changed my mind. Haha. Tropicana Field, it's not the best ever, but it's the most controversial ever. You got some people there. I'm not going to say they're stupid because they know they know what they can't be that dumb, you know. They'll just talk about how terrible Tropicana Field is. It's the worst. I was like, no, man, it's not the worst. All right. You clearly know nothing about baseball stadiums, or you're choosing to be a yo-yo. You know, you know what you're doing, or you secretly work for the Tampa Bay Rays and you're trying to help them get a new stadium. Because I've been to that stadium at least 15 times. And I could make a chart. And if I go through that chart, you're going to clearly see that there are 90% positives and at the worst 10% positives about that stadium. And that is indisputable. I've been there too many times. You will never hear me criticize Tropicana Field. Sorry, it's a little cold in there, but it's always 72 degrees. But but believe me, don't believe the propaganda. Believe the reality. It was really cool as a novelty, but not very picturesque. Well, that's a whole nother discussion, you see. But we can't go into that right now. Thanks for watching this video production. And Thursday morning, we'll be back with blended Scotch whiskey. And I know some of y'all are going to say, oh, golly, I'm so excited now.